guys. So, as I navigated the world of the internet, I somehow came across a question. It was on a historical type of topic. It had to do with um, the distribution of land and how all of that has changed as time progressed and whatnot. And then a question that was asked was, do we belong to the land or does the land belong to us? And I was like, you know what? I've never thought about that. But afterward, I went out to drive and then I couldn't help but notice that almost every single road that I traveled on either recently had a construction or it's in the middle of a construction. So I told myself, you know what? We keep tearing up the land, we keep chopping down trees and reshaping the land. Like, where there used to be a stream, now there isn't. Where there used to be grass and a forest, now there isn't. So I guess we have a manifest destiny type of mindset, and I know that historically the manifest destiny pretty much meant that a group of people just felt entitled to completely take over the land of a continent as far as they could go. But but in this case, it's like the places where no people have lived in due to wildlife and vegetation. It's like we're saying, okay, we have a right to take this spot in the land, chop it down, and build something. So, to directly answer the question, I want to say no, the land does not belong to us because if it belonged to us, I feel like we would be by ourselves. But at the same time, that if I go by my own logic, it doesn't really make sense because that doesn't mean that nothing else can inhabit the planet. You know what I mean? No matter what, other species will keep living. But to me, it's just strange. I cannot think in a selfish manner. I think that saying that the land belongs to us is selfish because we're not the only living beings, you know? We need from other living beings in the same manner that other living beings from time to time benefit from us. But honestly, I'm trying to think of an example of that. But as a modern human, I feel terrible saying that because how do we directly help animals? Um, you might say, oh, you have a domestic cat, he hunts for you, etc., etc. And I'm like, because he's domestic, he's been domesticated. At some point, his species didn't exist. So they were not thinking about coexisting with humans like that, you know? So I don't know, guys. It's pretty random. I saw the question as interesting, and it kept coming up in my brain as I drove, and I saw just how much land has been lost to construction and how we've changed everything around us, and that has no intention of stopping anytime soon. I know that there's this one construction of a road. It's like expanding a road that's gonna take 10 years to complete. And I think this is only their third year. So when I look at it, I'm like, is this really necessary? But when I am out on a Friday evening, I'm like, yes, please. Throw an extra road in here because it shouldn't take me 30 minutes to get home when I'm only like 5 miles away from my job or 7 miles away, something like that. So, yeah, guys, in the end, I think humans think that they're just superior to everything else and everyone else just because we're able to create and build and kill some things, and just we have a behavior that other animals don't really display. But animals have their own way of building their societies. We just do not we compare it to ours because we seem to come up with more complex things. But I'm like, if that were true, why is it that animals can come up with things that we cannot explain and that we are not capable of doing? You know, like spiders and the webs that they shoot. What's something that a human can build completely from what it carries biologically? You know, I guess you can let your hair grow out, take a long time and maybe create some kind of a rope or some crazy junk with it. But I cannot think as a being who feels entitled to every single inch of the land. It has to be shared. I don't think of myself as a superior being just because I'm a human and I have technology that makes me be at the top of the food chain, you know? Um, Now, if I enter the territory of a bear, for example, he's definitely at the top of the food chain. But you see what I mean? It's crazy. I cannot think that the land belongs to us like that. No. Um, that's why there are so many different species and we all coexist and we need from a little bit of everything. Like we need stuff from the air, birds, we need stuff from the land, we need stuff from the oceans, fish, and all that. It's pretty interesting. I'm trying to see if I can think of this question from a different perspective, but I can't. I just focus on it from the point of view of how much we have changed the land, but we don't stop to think about that because by the time we were born, say the roads existed, some buildings existed, or at least the structure of buildings as we know them existed, electricity, etc., etc. So we swear that this has been around forever. And I'm like, no, someone had to think about a necessity and how to address it, come up with an idea. It would be nice to be able to flick something on the wall and have some light come on, when it gets dark. So that's how light came about. It's probably not how it came about, but I'm just trying to express how things get developed. Someone has that moment of, dang, it would really be nice if I didn't have to walk so far with many heavy things. How can I hold this around? So anyways, guys, at this point, I'm just rambling. I think I said my main point already. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Have you ever thought about that? Or do you think that, yes, we are the supreme beings and therefore the land is ours? Let me know your thoughts because I just have no idea. That's probably the best set of thoughts that you're going to get out of me on this matter. All right, guys. See you soon.